Greetings and salutations. Ben here, Terry there, Trev there. This is Canucks Avec Guitars, and we are happy to do live Q&A because if we didn't, we'd be sad. Yeah. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. And as always, each and every week, whether they like it or not, we have show sponsors. We're presented by LPD Pedals on the toque, Reno Fin Custom Guitars, got one back there, Tesi Switch in the Reno Fin Custom Guitars, FU-Tone, that's all in Kramer over there, PTM Guitars, see, it's got the holder over there and stuff, and great stuff. And Flipside Music, was wearing the shirt last night, that's right. Tesi Switch, though, tonight, perfect. And, of course, Ardens Music, our preferred Canadian retailers. Yes. All right. Said all that. Perfect. Hi, folks. Who do we got in the chat? We got Keith Campbell, LRM Guitars, Guitar Man 45, Hip Metalworks, Ferd Burfel, Ryan Hall. Now I got to scroll. Blackjack Guitar, Brother Bent Tom, Brother Bent. Dennis Ellis, GP Page 2. Nope. I can see better through my glasses than over my glasses. Billy Baloney, Gary, Charles, Michael.
All the cool cats.
Ferd, Michael, Billy, Ferd, Michael.
Octopus here's just rolling in.
Randy. Michael Gross. JP Page 2. AP Jim. Scroll back. Oh, okay. No,
Zach Thong.
H. Zach Thong. Octopus Ears.
Guitar Man 45.
The young parents usually drop in at the bottom of the hour. I'm looking at you, Josh Tamberg and Doug Strong.
Right.
Yes, if you all have any questions, we got the answers. And if not, we'll have a comment on why we don't have the answers. What's up, Michael Easter, all the way from PEI? My favorite island-based province.
Make sure that's turned down.
It's your only island-based province. Still, it's my favorite, I guess. Got a story to talk about. What we did today. Fun little afternoon trip over to the Long Ann McQuaid retail establishment. More on that in a little bit. We'll let a few more people dip in, like Dana of New Jersey, for instance.
Thomas
Santiago. Greetings and salutations.
Thomas Santiago is still alive, even though he got all the snow to survive.
That's
it's
true.
like a snow magnet.
Want to be someone from Buffalo.
That's, yeah. Well, I think he's more the GBA. I don't know if he lives in Buffalo proper or the greater Buffalo area, not including the water. Because you live on a houseboat in the greater Buffalo area. I'm in international waters. No, you're not. The border goes right to. There is no international waters in the Great Lakes. Look it up. There could be, technically, because I think it's really like 10 miles.
Cold. It's so cold on the water.
Well, yeah, but how do you wouldn't be able to get there without being in one or the other. So, Mohogany. Hanging out with Mohogany the other night on the Zoom call last week. He
that was awesome.
Our newbie, if you will, because it seems like every Zoom call we get somebody new popping in. It was awesome. He took top prize for most interesting first concert ever. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. If he mentions it in the chat, that's one thing, but we will. What happens in the Zoom call stays in the Zoom call unless it accidentally becomes public. If there's an accidental press clip. Used to be a 3-mile limit. Well, maybe it was 3 mile. I don't know, Ferd. I don't know. You'd know better than me. You were in the Navy, so that means you were on water for a living. You got paid to be on the water. I never once. Not once. I like that, Michael Easter. You can open a lingerie store called Thong and McQuaid. I love it.
Zach is a partner.
It's 90 miles across the lake to the Great White North here. Really?
That's a big lake. Like, shouldn't that be called a sea? Isn't that bigger than the Mediterranean, for Christ's sake?
Yeah, like an inland sea. I don't know.
Hey, nothing off that LRM.
John Shane made it.
Right on. Questionable experience.
Oh, excuse me. That's all the
What
library.
do you say about sailors?
They got the scurvy. That's why you eat the citrus.
Trailers for sailors. That old song.
Read that a little later. Did you order your mixer? Not yet. Tesi is he shut down this week. He's out in Utah. Then I realized with the delays, because the super chat is delayed, and I had to use the credit card for something else. So, yeah, I'll be ordering that probably first of the month. We'll do that. Or actually, I'll probably get Rob put it in the order this week. Speaking of which, Rob from Tesi Switch will be our guest this coming Sunday on the Sunday Night Hang.
There you go.
Imagine how that happens. You know, we have a phone call with a fella. Rob's such a nice guy. Because he wanted to fill me in over the phone because there's a missing cable in the packet. He's like, I got this one at this price because it's got all the cables. And he said, this one is missing one cable, and it happens to be that. And I'm like, that's the cable I need. But I already have one of those cables, so I'm okay in that respect. So he's like, all right, well, we'll cut you a bit of a deal and this and that. And then after we talked business, then he's like, so how are you doing? And I was like, that's nice. And I'm like, well, how are you doing? You know, we talked about that. So we'll talk about that on Sunday, including his new project he's got going on.
Ooh.
Another custom Wolfgang.
Oh,
saying but not saying.
Nice.
Yes. So what we got? 43 people in here. That's a good number. Richard Petty. Sure. We could talk about my trip over to the Long and/or McQuaid today. It was fun. I was hanging out with buddy Mark, and I forgot to take the rock salt out of the back of for the water softener out of the back of the van. Dang it! Forgot that when I got home. Forgot when I got home again after dropping him off. Question: is anyone eyeing any gear or lessons, etc., for Black Friday sales? Good question. Speaking of Black Friday sales, if you're part of the old LPD Pedals newsletter, you were sent a coupon code for 20% off site wide Black Friday.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so Mark and I were hanging out here, and we're picking on some guitars, and I said, hey, you want to go look at some other guitars? And he's like, yes. He's like, what do you want? And I said, well, I've been meaning, it was weird, I either take the Travis, my buddy Travis over at Long Quaid, shout out Travis at Long Quaid, Travis has been wanting to check out some LPD stuff for a while, and every time I bring over some LPD stuff, guess who has the day off? Like he deserves a day off or something. He should always be there in case I come in. You know, right? No. It's not fair.
Cheers,
Mr. Black.
Robert.
Don't tell me that, Michael Krause. I do not need to know Mr. Black is doing 30% off because I need that 0-through flanger of his. It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Ramford. So I say, hey, you know, so we're good. I was taking over the Lucent, the blues breaker in the box, right? Because he likes the blues, Terry. And the British blues, you know, he likes that. So I thought, you know, alley, right up, right? But before we leave, Mark's like, what about the Soleil? And I said, what about it? And I went, well, you know what? It's, you know, it's kind of a fuzz-facey type thing. You know what? He is a Strat player. It's, again, right up that alley. So we snagged on both of them off the tone shelf there. Puttered on over. He was working on a guitar over in the repair area. And so I just walked right by the other employees like I didn't even see them. Right? Right, trying to, I put them on down the workbench. I said, look what I brought for you to play with. Anyway, and then immediately dropped tools, picked up pedals, walked over to Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. Fires that up, starts letting that heat up. Okay. Grabs a Stratocaster-shaped object, plugs in the Lucent, starts pecking on that for about 5 minutes. And it's funny because there's another guy there that professes to be, I know my tone. I'm like, really? Do you know your tone? You know, like, he seems to know his tone, but he's got a bit of a ego, we'll say, Terry, you know, which I kind of miss in some music stores, but, you know. So, Travis sitting down playing here. Mark's on the other side of him facing me. I can see the cash register where the other guy is, right? And as soon as Travis digs in, this guy, So, which told me he does know tone. It's also he's like, oh. Yeah. Travis is twisting dials on the loosen, playing all kinds of cool, Clapton-y type stuff, and he's all of a sudden he's finding work to do in the getting closer and kind of then stops. Unplug that. I wasn't buying any pedals, Keith. Showing off, letting them trust them out. So then we took that and put the old Soleil in, and all of a sudden he's like, oh. And then Buddy, he comes right up. What is that? I'm like, it's a Soleil. And the funny part was, because I forgot to mention before we left the work area, you got to walk by the cash registers, to go over to the guitar area. Mm-hmm. And as we're doing that, and he's like, so what are these? I'm like, oh, they're a limited run. He goes, so these are the prototypes, right? I'm like, yeah. And immediately the guy's like, what? I'm like, they said the P word. Hey, Kurt.
Hey, Kurt.
Chief Robble Rouser over at Under the Bus Network, Kurt 5150. Just saying. Not saying it, but I'm saying it. So by the time we put the fuzz to the face, and then we had to play it through the dirty side of the amp, right? And then he had to try both pedals through the dirty amp. He's like, he's like, I need these. I need these pedals. He goes, what do you want for them? Like, no, not for sale. Where can I get them? Like, well, keep your peepers out on the old inner Google. Sometimes you'll see one come up for sale on the secondary market, but they're rare. He's like, oh man. He's like, oh, you just tell me what cash or pedals you want. He already offered up a older Proco Rat.
Oh, jeez.
He's like, what do you think? And I went, I don't think so. He's like, really? I said, yeah, because I can get one of them off Reverb any day of the week. You got to pay for it, but you can get one any day of the week. You can get one of these. It's like, and the other guy's literally, he's looking at the pedal. He's like, do you mind? I'm like, no, go ahead. And he's like, who is this guy? I'm like, well, actually, I told you about him a couple months ago, and you didn't pay attention, obviously. Do some research. So, yeah, we were cranking those up in the store for a half hour, 45 minutes. Like, there was no work getting done in that LNAB. Like, all the employees are just kind of standing around at that point while Travis is just giving her. Like, and I'm watching. He's playing with his eyes closed for like 2 minutes. He's just fully immersed. And he had to go to lunch after that. He's, now I have to take my lunch and think about those. Thanks. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Hey, Josh. Actually, you're 16 minutes early. I figured you and Doug weren't going to show up till about 8:30 due to children's and such. So actually, yeah, you're early. We were just killing time, just talking a story about going along McQuaid today. Did I see anything of note in there? No, because there wasn't much in the way of used stuff, because they're holding back on all the used stuff till Black Friday, which I'm just saying, folks, if this is a corporate situation, all y'all that live near Long McQuaid should probably check out Long McQuaid Friday morning if you can, because what our location has been doing, Terry, is all the stuff they've been taking in on trade for the last 2 months, they've just been saving on it all in the back. So it's going to be a huge of gear coming out on the floor Black Friday, because like all that gear I've been trading, all those pedals I traded in, not one of those have hit the stock showroom yet. They're all in the back. Ooh. And then Mark asks, he's like, how many pedals did you bring in? I said, well, enough to fill that cabinet. It's a 2-shelf display cabinet. I'm like, yeah, that'll be full. Half the job description at L&M is to do nothing. Yep. And the other half is to know nothing.
Yeah, so basically they were just doing what they normally do anyways then. Except playing your guitar and pedals. While not doing nothing.
I see someone else sneak in here. Yeah, I thought I saw Seth pop in. What's up, Seth? See you, my friend. What you working on today? What you working on? As far as Black Friday deals, I'm not really looking for anything because like I'm a little flush right now for gear. Dunlop Echoplex pedals are hard to find all of a sudden. Really interesting. I haven't looked. Although I will say I was looking at pedals today. Oh, go figure. New pedals, Trev, as well as used, but new pedals. And, you know, I get a lot of sticker shock these days. You know, I'm like, really? They're that much now? You know? However, you know what a deal is right now that's become a deal because it hasn't gone up price? A Keeley compressor. Like a 4-knob Keeley compressor plus, you know, industry standard. Terry, 10 years ago, they were what? $200?
Yeah.
220.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it was 220 when I was looking to buy one 4 years ago, and I ended up buying mine in Sweetwater on sale.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really looking for any guitar.
They've sold 1 million already, Octopus Ears. I think they could sold 1.5 million because of me. Bo's trying to get the Motor City guitar still, hopefully by Saturday. Awesome. Dennis L says, guys, do the Canadian Mounties still face an awesome world? They face us, and we're awesome, so yeah. Black, red, still there. Color scheme, yeah. Formal attire, yeah. Still look like Mounties. I only know that because I saw 2 of them carrying the Grey Cup on last night's news coverage. So,
they have
what's the Grey Cup, you may ask? That's our Super Bowl, only older.
At their headquarters, they have all the outfits. There's the ballistic guy, there's the diver guy.
Yeah, they got all the variants.
Red and the hat, and then there's just regular cop attire, too. You know.
Hey, Rock Daddy and D-Mac. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, Trev. You get a kick of this, and Terry, because you guys are, sports fans. So they said, in the Toronto Argonauts, who won the Grey Cup, folks, so, again, they said, one of the league's oldest franchises. I'm like, they're the oldest professional franchise in all professional sports in North America, folks. It's not one of the oldest, it's the oldest. By a lot. By a lot. That's a pro franchise that was started in the 1800s as a rugby team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Toronto Argonauts, which was from the Toronto Sailing Club or Rowing Club, one or the other. That's hence the Argonaut name. It was a division of that. Yeah, and then they rugby and then transitioned into football, early days of football.
Wow.
Excuse me. So there's your history, Canadian history portion of the show. Speaking of Canadian history portion of the show, let's shout out the patrons. Awesome.
Perfect.
53 people watching, an unknown number of thumbs up because I haven't checked. I want to shout out the patrons. You can become a patron and help support the channel by doing a search on Patreon for my name or clicking on that link, which is actually posted below as well. You get a shout out each week. Why? Because you're not green and have a toque in the chat like the members. It doesn't integrate that way. So I want to shout out LRM Guitars, T. Ricky, Guitar Man 45, Cause Todd Flowers, Doug Strong, Randy Crooks, Mo Hogany, Fruitcake Tony, Blackjack Guitar, Keith H, Paul McNary, Other Left, Ferd Burfel, Chief Page 2, John ZD351, Ben Tom, Brother Ben Tom actually, Jeff K, Running Out of Breath, Grumpy Mike Guitar, Symmetry, Gear Chuck 35, Charles Green, Unfucking Believable, and of course, Dr. Fabric himself, Charles 75 at.
Dr. Voodoo Fabric Top.
Superfan Gary Davlin's been spotted in the chat.
Oh, hey, Gary.
Gary Davlin spotted. Spotting? Yes, spotting. Yes.
Some of the boys are talking about $300 Kramer Pacers.
Yes, Keith, longer than the socks of the Reds.
They're 550 Canadian. No sale. At the aforementioned.
Now I gotta look it up. When exactly was the Argonauts formed, Terry?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. I followed the Argonauts for a long time when I was into CFL football, but back in that day, it was Rocket Ishmael and
I remember Rocket Ishmael.
Else.
Founded in 1873.
Holy crap!
That's
Or as you
150
like to say, holy crap on a cracker.
150 years ago.
Wow.
There you go.
And they've had
Hey,
better
unbelievable.
success than
Are
the Leafs.
are you packing? Are you moving? Packing, or I'm just curious.
Cheers, Kurt.
Excuse me. Thank you very much, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the
We'll
super
we'll
chat.
try. We'll keep on keeping on as long as you keep on keeping on. I'll lock down the Mondays. You lock down the Wednesdays, and sometimes Saturdays.
Maybe a song.
There's Mr. Mark. Just told the Long and McQuaid story, Mark. I would say you can rewind to listen to it, but you don't need to because you were there. So you're a witness. What else did I see here? Ben, have you ever? No. Whoops. There. No. I watched the Ted Woodford video yesterday and cringed. I've watched Dave from Dave's World of Fun Stuff do it. He has more confidence than I do. No, I have not done it. Oh wait, no, I've removed them. I read this as applying them, Terry. Removing, not a problem. I'm an expert on that. Just grind on it till they're gone.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, you can. It doesn't take much. They're super thin. They're under paint generally, mind you. So you're gonna have to, burn through the clear coat. But they're wafer thin. Actually, they're not even wafer thin. They're not even as thin as a hair. They're thinner than a hair.
Yeah.
They're like a fine
They're
hair.
like a micromillimeter thickness kind of.
Sure, Charles would have some tips on sanding through that quickly and effectively.
Oh, Charles just grabs like 40 grit and goes to town.
Oh.
For a 3-dimensional top, which is, well, it doesn't matter.
Give you
It's
some grit for the fabric,
building
too,
with
right?
glue and fabric, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Put on a decal, yeah. You don't even want to use like even that low. You want
No, you have to buff it out to like 1,000 grit before applying the decal, and then basically you're doing that over top of it too, and hopefully you don't burn through. And you're still going to have a transition at the edge as much as you don't want to. Well, it depends on what you're painting over too. If it's lacquer or poly, poly will shrink much less, so it won't be as obvious. But lacquer, even if it looks perfect, and you keep adding on, and you try to, feather it in, it's still. Look at old Gibsons. It's all, hey, how you doing? Because it's like oil on a fretboard. Lacquer just keeps curing and curing and curing until it just flakes away.
Yeah, the only time you won't notice it is when they do the silk screened and not the inlaid.
Charles, first scallop body ever.
Oh God.
Randy Crook says, I'm thinking of getting the Fender Blues Junior 415 watt, or the Blues Junior IV. I assume it's the 4 as opposed to intravenous. I have to take my tone direct.
Revision 4, yeah.
Blues Juniors are nice. They do not record well, or easily, I should say. The amount of times I've used the Blues Junior in demos at Ardens, and it sounded great in the room, Terry, and those are all the videos where it sounds like ass on camera.
Yeah.
Not picked up well by the microphone.
Yeah, I think
He's having a cigar. I used to have cigars.
Can't stand them. I've had this one here for 2 years now.
I've never made cornbread, Ferd, although I enjoy eating it. Cornbread is great with chili. I really like cornbread with chili. To the point where I used to like garlic bread with chili, and now I don't like garlic bread with chili. I like cornbread with chili.
I did make a cornbread
cornbread
batter.
chili, yeah,
Did
that
some
would be
corn dogs in a deep fryer once upon a time. That was pretty.
Oh, also follow up to Randy Crooks. If you're buying the amp used, go over to Psionic Audio and check to see if there's any known issues with that amp first to keep an eye out for. Because I'm not that well versed to know what to look for, but I know some of those Fenders have issues. Yeah, input jack or something like that, might.
Hey, Christopher.
What's up, Christopher? Good to see you.
So,
We debated playing cornhole today, but since it's winter, no. I wasn't dressed for
warmer
it.
today, but I definitely still.
It was 4 degrees, Terry. That's warmer, yes, but that's not warm. It's warmer. I agree. Warmer, but not warm. Ferd's making chili tomorrow. Nice. So if I leave now, I could get to Ferd's by chili time tomorrow. Keith does his chili sourdough bread bowl. Sure.
That's a good call, too. I do a nice clam chowder in a bread bowl as well. It's always good.
Ooh, that's a classic.
New England. Manhattan clam chowder is an abomination. It belongs on pasta.
It's not right. It's weird. It's weird.
I almost would swear I remember Steve did a show about that.
Which chowder's the chowder?
Exactly. And Mark was like, that guy was... See, there's your proof. Because he came in after the story and basically confirmed.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think all the employees were, Mark. Because the interesting thing was one guy got up and grabbed a guitar and sat down and started playing right after we were done. Like, he was just waiting to sit down. And it's weird because I never see employees sitting down and playing. But he must have got inspired on something.
Waiting in the queue.
Yeah. Charles says it's a very non-Canadian decision. Yeah, that's fine. I'm international at times, especially when it comes to eating.
Hey, BC Rich.
What's up, BC Rich 581? Again, 2 minutes early. He falls in a category young children. So, therefore, punctuality is not really an option for a lot of folks.
There's priorities.
Sometimes it could be kids related. Sometimes it could be wife related. You know, one of those, I'll only be 5 minutes, honey. 5 minutes in your time is 22 my time.
Traffic related.
Ryan says 19 this morning in Tennessee. That's warm. Unless you're talking Fahrenheit. Is that Celsius?
Yeah. That'd be Fahrenheit. That'd be pretty cold, actually.
Yeah, that would be...
-10?
-10, yeah. I think so. So Randy
See, BC Rich says, nope, not with a cranky 8-year-old. Well, they take after their father, I guess. I don't know. 64 in San Diego.
Getting the amp through Sweetwater.
Okay. That should be okay, and they have a good return policy, so you're good to go. If a company or Trev,
you get candy.
The one good thing with Sweetwater is, you just call up, like, hey, they're like, what? I don't like it. They're like, okay, here's a way bill. At most you may have to drop it off somewhere. Is what I'm saying.
It'd be funny if Sweetwater made the policy that if you return the product, you have to return the candy.
They can keep the candy.
So you want me to throw it up and then return it to you? No, you can keep it then.
I've never once had fresh candy from there, Terry.
Well, I remember Ryan Bruce did that one visit, and yeah, they got like the great big industrial paper fucking crates, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, like how many months is that stuff sitting there?
Yeah, and it's like 10. I think it's 10 or 12 of them like that. There's just random candy things. They just reach in, grab, throw it in.
There you go. Josh uses Halloween candy as packing material. I like that idea. I wouldn't use Jay's name for any online transaction because that just means you're going to get a fucked up guitar and have to send it back. The man has the worst luck buying gear of anyone I have ever had the privilege of knowing in my life.
Wow.
Hands down. Like, I think, honestly, Terry, I'm pretty sure he's returned more guitars than I've ever owned in my life.
Oh, wow. That's
Prove me wrong.
How much of it was actual defects versus being fussy and not fitting his needs the way he wanted it to?
More often than not, it was defects of some kind, or a flaw, and I will say that finished flaws count as defects. Like if you see something aesthetically that you don't like, that's on them. Because it's not
at over a $500 price,
especially with the price of any new guitar. Yeah, if it's not perfect, like Lord help me, if I ever had to drop that crazy number of $1,000 on a Dane Electro, that fucker better be perfect. I mean, perfect. For them to have the audacity to charge that price for it, it better be perfect. And it isn't, because it's a fucking Dane Electro. They're not perfect by design. They're a cheap-ass guitar.
And made out of authentic 70s.
Oh, there we are. I missed... Thank you for repeating that. I caught the Lake Placid earlier, and I didn't realize it was directed towards me. Thank you, Seth. Wrapping up a Lake Placid blue hardtail Strat. Yes, right, with the matching headstock. Which, fun fact, folks, if you have a color-matching headstock, it improves your tone by 8%. Prove me wrong. I dare you. Matching headstock, okay. Maple neck board. Single Seymour Duncan Invader in the bridge. Jeez Louise.
What's wrong with that?
Mother of toilet seat picture.
Yeah, so that would still relate to, yeah, because something about with the border. You're still looking at North 700 American for a Dane Electro. Fuck that. Michael Krause. It's just one of those random music facts that will pop into my head every once in a while, and I let the old man. He doesn't know, Terry. He hasn't paid attention to prices, right? In, let's say 30 years, right? So the last time he knew, there was still, first of all, let's say there was a standard, like a Strat standard or a Tele standard, which is it's what a US one was. They start calling them the standard, right? Okay. Those retailed for $900 at that time, Canadian. Okay. When I told him the other day that Dane Electros are $1,000, he said, "No." I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "No." Yep. No. Yep. He's like, "No." I said, "Yeah." He's like, "They can't be. They shouldn't be more than $400 or $500, even with inflation." I'm like, "I know, but they're not." He's like, "Where are they made?" I'm like, "Who knows? Who cares?" It's true. And I thought about it. I'm not sure, Trev. Even as a neutral, like a vintage Dane Electro can't be worth much more than $1,000, or shouldn't be worth much more than $1,000. Like even a vintage one, like a vintage Silvertone or a Kent, Terry. Those are shitbox guitars. They shouldn't be worth more than $1,000.
Yeah.
Even for the vintage ones. Hey, here's a Teisco. What do you want for it? $2,500. Yeah, good luck with that, Bubbaloo. No. Yes, BC Rich. Exactly. Smuggler edition.
Yeah.
Speaking of a six-string bass, but not a six-string bass, our favorite Filipino, RJ Ronquillo. I don't know if you caught his demo today, guys. He did a D'Angelico baritone, which I was like, ooh. And I was like, I was kind of digging the tone. I was like, Terry, I dig the tone, but it's not quite the tone I'm looking for. But then he did the cool coil tap, and then there was the tone. And I went, oh.
The tone switch.
So I haven't looked up the price yet, but I am very interested. Oh, yeah, exactly, Keith. A celebrity-owned Silvertone. EVH's Silvertone. Like, then it's worth, I don't know, $1,400. Now, actually, no, that'd still be worth like $5,000 just because of the name. D-Mac asks, you guys ever been to Cosmo Music north of Toronto? Yes.
Sure.
So is it worth stopping by sometime when in the city? Yes.
Why wouldn't you?
I haven't.
They have all the guitars.
Bought stuff from them.
They have all the guitars.
Yeah. They got good stuff.
The guitar showroom, they're stacked 2 stories high, probably, because it's like a industrial building type thing. Like they're like, I don't know, 6 rows high, Trev. I don't know. There's scaffolding used. It's then they have a platinum room where it's all your foo-foo shishi guitars. That's where you find your Friedmans and your Sirs and your Macmoles, if they have Macmoles. Your Tom Andersons, I think.
10-top PRSs.
Don't recall seeing any in there. Maybe, though. Then again, I just glaze those over anyways. It's like, whatever. It's like fucking Dane Electro. I don't even see it. No, exactly. Dane Electros, they're unique. Overpriced. But your custom shop, Strats and Gibbies are in there as well. And then to plug in, you got your Mesa Boogies and your Milkmans in there, and your Sewers and your Friedmans and such.
And Custom Shop Fender, I believe, but that's also carried by.
I met, you know, also fun fact. I met Zach Thong at Cosmo Music.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. There's a video about it, I do believe. If you go way, like
Back in the beginning.
Well, no. If you go that far back, you'll see Richie and me hanging out. The next year, I was hanging out with Mayhem, and I ran into Richie up there.
Gotta admit, I went to the bottom of the list and started scrolling around and found a few and watched a few excerpts of the old days. Yep. Looks like I missed a lot of stuff.
Well, I think I'm closing in on 1,200 videos on the channel, Trev. So
yeah, it took a while to scroll down through it. I'll tell you.
I bet. Fun fact.
Now they separate the shows from the live streams, right? They got a different tab for that now. It's like, oh fuck, you gotta know what you're looking for, I guess.
I assuming he's still current, Charles 75N has seen every video on this channel.
Tom.
So I don't know what that says about him versus. That was drinking, Tom. Yeah, where we had to bring in the whole "Show Me Your Pick" crew to rescue somebody. But he came back, Big G. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He drank all the booze. Guitar Man 45 asks, so where is this Cosmos store? Northeast end of the GTA, Greater Toronto area.
I'd say around Markham, maybe?
For you would get on the 401. You're going to drive for approximately 3 hours, assuming we have good traffic. And then you're going to see signs, Don Valley South to downtown. Meanwhile, you're already like 2/3 of the way through town. All right, okay? Or the 404 north. So that's what you're going to do. So basically, you're going to drive on the 401 for 3 hours and then turn left, heading north. You're going to drive north for about 5 minutes on that highway. Then you're going to get off. Then you're going to turn left again. Then you're going to drive a few blocks. Then you can turn right, which takes you into Industrial Park. And then you're going to turn left, and then you're there. I don't know where the parking lot is. I've never actually parked anywhere near the place. Thornhill, or they call it Newmarket now, but it's not fucking Newmarket. It's almost in Markham.
Richmond Hill.
Richmond Hill, they call it. Yeah, it's not. It's
10
neither.
via Renzo Drive, Richmond Hill.
Hey, fruitcake. And B. Scott Farthingsworth.
I stayed in
Market.
Yeah, it looks like they actually got parking just near the building, but also across the street from it or something.
Well, see, Music Fest, it's so they use all that, so you just park in the parking lot of another company in the industrial park and then hope you don't get towed. Oh, here we go. This is the map portion of the show, so we'll solo out Trev.
There you go.
We do that, but then we do this. Let's see.
Yeah, okay, Detroit. Yeah, so he's coming in through Sarnia.
Okay, so Why am I putting my cursor? Nobody can see my cursor, Ben.
Through London, Hamilton, there you hang a. So it's not that far north.
Yeah, see, like it's way closer to Markham because Richmond Hill is. Well, I guess, yeah, kind of.
And Newmarket's way up here.
Yeah, I know.
That's where I stayed when I was there, because my work is in Aurora. Where the fuck that is.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. You have my heart. You have my heart.
I'm sorry to hear that, yeah.
There you go. Oh, wait, now I'm in the basement. That doesn't work. There we go.
Speaking of which, Gary's wife said it's actually been 2 months now since Gary passed.
Wow, 2 months already.
Yeah.
It's almost Christmas, Ben. I mean, how many? There's 2 paychecks left till Christmas for those of us that have bi-weekly paychecks.
I don't know. I get paid monthly.
It's starting to get. I mean, the sooner we get through it, the sooner we can get back to summertime. That's where I'm looking at it.
Well, that'd be one way to piss off Gibson purists. Play Gibson through a line 6 amp. a cheap Line 6 amp. It's like a Spider, like 8. Spider with an 8-inch.
I don't know. This Marshall, it's in the house. That little MG10, what a terrible amp that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just no way you can get anything but, I guess this is better than not hearing it at all kind of tone.
I guess, yeah. It's like,
when I was at Ford, we were trying
literally, you just need to make a sound. Like if you're going to a lesson or something, it's just to be heard.
Yeah.
That's all you have. That's all we're hoping.
Yeah.
Right, Mr. Anderson 59? At Mr. Anderson 59, actually.
Mr. Anderson.
Play an R9 through a solid state crate. Exactly. That's worse than a Line 6 Spider. Because then you're not even trying. At least the Line 6 is trying to model something else. The crate's just trying to be a crate.
There was a lot of those in the marketplace.
Well, like I said,
yes,
that time...
Zach. Yeah, they did a bunch of renovations at Cosmo during COVID. Because Mazel.
Yeah.
No point in having a showroom. Yeah.
Apparently, according to Google, it is the largest music store in Canada.
Oh, definitely by square footage. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's huge, Terry. Because it's got a warehouse, too.
Yeah.
It's a facility. Like, well, you look at the aerial photos, it's big. And
just looking even over some of the pics here that's posted in Google.
yeah, it's like you walk in, the first thing you hit is a gift shop. It's kind of like, for you Americans, it's kind of like walking into a Cracker Barrel, but if Joe Bonamassa designed it. So the first thing you walk in through a merch store, essentially, your shirts and your hats and decals and magnets and
Google
stuff.
Maps version. So it's this building right here.
Is
Looks
it?
like there's a great place to ride your dirt bike here next door. What the hell is that?
One photo
Well, maybe at one time that would have been all probably developed. Who knows how old that image is?
Google Earth within the last 6 months. I like to go and look at my house and see if the pool's up. And tell what time of year it was. Different changes in the yard. What vehicles in the
Yeah,
yard.
plus they have an outdoor stage set up there
What's
with
that
a beer
deer doing
garden.
in my backyard?
It's great
a
because
pretty
you go,
facility.
they got live bands, and I definitely recommend anyone. If you're within a few hours, go for if they bring back the Music Fest, which I really hope they do. They probably will. They'll need to pay for that renovation. Jeez Louise.
I hope they do the Cause Fest because I would like to go to that this summer.
It's fun. Like it's funny, Terry. A lot of if you go to annual events, in certain areas of Canada, and Trev, I'm sure you've seen it too. It's like they blow the budget one year, so they got to cut costs the next year, and then they have more of a budget the next. So it's like every other year is, in theory, so like the first year I went, they got Richie Kotzen performing. The drummer from Iron Maiden's doing a clinic.
Really?
George Lynch was there doing a clinic. Who else performed though? Saw Doug Aldrich walking around. He may have done a clinic as well. So like a lot of I was like, oh, okay. Then the next year though, next year you got Kim Mitchell, April Wine, Sloan. I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm thinking you spent a little too much money on the entertainment last year. You're reeling it in because it's all Canadian content.
I'm just laughing at BC Rich's comment.
Although the second year they did it, Geddy Lee was doing the book signing for the big book of basses, and that's when Dave Grohl was hanging out with him, and also brought Lifeson over. And they're walking around.
John Duchesne, a fifth is a 2/6er, which is a fifth of a gallon. So
fifth, I thought it was like a Mickey. A Mickey's a fifth, isn't it? Oh,
No.
Fifth is 7 mils, so it's a 26er.
750, yeah.
Oh, okay.
A pint is a Mickey.
Right.
So BC Richard said, the day that the Gorilla Combo is priced vintage, I'll take my own life.
Well, technically, some of those Gorillas are considered vintage amps, technically.
Yeah. Well, that was actually what my very first amp was a Gorilla.
Anything before 1992 is technically vintage. So there you go. Now we all feel old. I know. It wasn't. I have vintage gear that was in my CE2. It wasn't vintage when I bought it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
My Strat was used and 2 years old when I bought it. Now it's a vintage Strat. How'd that happen? Hey, Michael Cross. Presley's first amp was a Gorilla. I'm assuming that's just a statement as opposed... Oh, no, he's got the Devil's Horns after, so he's actually bragging on that fact. Okay.
Yeah, the one I had, I think, had...
I am vintage, John DeShane. However, I'm still not as vintage as you. He's got me by 2 years. You'll always be 2 years older than me, buddy.
Has anyone ever played through an Alamo amp? Heard of them? Can't say I have.
Nope. Can't say I have. So what's the oldest piece of gear you own? Mine is a 62 Ampeg 112. Oh, that's a good question. Let me think.
Sorry, we're laughing loud and high, but I'm just laughing at Bill.
Does it have to be usable and working, or can it be a project? It's your call, guys. The oldest piece of fully playable gear or something that needs some work done on it?
Yeah, that's kind of an open question, whether it's working or not.
I'll let the chat decide, because it involves me getting up further or not.
Okay, no las dos.
Why not both?
Sí.
Well, I'll grab the oldest piece. Oh.
In the beginning.
Yeah, my modified S, probably 470, would probably technically be the oldest piece of gear I got. And that's 2003.
All right, technically I got a Baldwin PA speaker from the 50s, but I don't know the exact date. But okay, well, first of all, if you notice, this is the finish of the case. So it's one of those. It looks like Tolex, but it's a cardboard case. It's one of those cardboard cases.
John DeShane.
I think I snagged this up in 1992 or very early 93. I want to say. Oh. First, we'll do the back. Oh, yeah, because it's got all the tuners.
Oh, yeah, 12.
A dozen.
Nice. I like that, actually.
And it is a Stewart. Look at that headstock, eh? That's not a rip-off of anybody we know, do we? Here, let's put it this way. Move out of the way, Ben. I don't know if anyone recognizes that headstock shape, but
the headstock shape, yeah. And
the logo doesn't match the shape.
Kind of looks like a buck.
So it's a Stewart.
It looks kind of reminds me of a 60s piece of kitchen stuff.
Which I think I did do a video on this guitar once. So,
did the fella have to get us out of
that? I don't know how you set the intonation because it's got two bridges. So,
I gotta be a video for that.
Yeah. Oh no! It needs work.
I can see a crack.
It's actually hold up very well, but it's been detuned. But yeah, there's a big dip in the belly behind, and that's drying. Is it collapsed yet? No, it's trying though. Oh, it's lifting up on that side.
It would be an interesting project for that 2 Ford guy.
Yeah, Ted Woodford. That's who I'd like. But again, the value of it versus... But I don't have a lot into it because again, I bought it 30 years ago when it was just an
Reasonable to
old
get it
cheap.
working.
So I think I got some. Oh wow, that's a lot of mold on that fretboard. That's a lot of mold.
Nah.
Never did change the strings. That's why they're rust. But yeah, it's a Stewart. I assume made in Japan, obviously.
Yeah, it would have to be.
Great album.
Super small frets. Got some checking. Not bad.
All they are is rust in the wind.
The body shrunk a bit. The binding is a little proud, but it's not broken. Oh wait, is that cracked binding or no? It's tortoiseshell binding.
Oh, nice.
Is it? I think it is, or it's either that or it's cracked. No, that's what it is. And I don't think any of the cracks are all the way through. I haven't done anything to take care of it, but
That's
yeah,
something you don't see often, especially that.
Yeah, when we have the money, Terry, we take this and I take the Martin over to Ted and say, "Here, restore these."
And he'll be like cursing and swearing at
Yeah,
you.
that's like a 1956, 1958. I think I dated it to in around that era. Yeah, hold your breath around that guitar. No kidding. I just breathed in like all the mold. So let's just put my hand up to the face. That's perfect.
It's patina, not mold.
Yeah, it's that. You know what? We're going to close the case up so it's not a hazmat situation here. Yeah, so we'll just close that up and pretend we didn't look at it.
Well, I mean, that was fun. I'm glad you chose to go with the need some work oldest thing first.
Yeah.
Yeah, oldest playable. Well,
Yeah, that would have to probably default.
that'd be the old man's $300 guitar.
Yeah, your dad's telly.
There we go. It is not pre-CBS, so he acted like it was.
Isn't that the one you took the pick guard off and it had like a totally different color underneath?
Yeah, it's total tan lines. Yeah, it's funny because like now Terry, you'd be like, oh, what kind of guitar? You're like, well, I got a Telly, but it's a Squire, right? But it's a Squire. That's what you would, you're saying that to, let's say, a mature player. Whereas
Right.
my dad's like, yeah, it's a Telly, but it's not pre-CBS. But no, that was the attitude in the 80s. It was either pre-CBS or it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, like, nowadays it would be like, like you said, that guitar, it's like, oh, wow. It's not a pre-CBS. It's like, it's like...
No, my dad doesn't play anymore, Keith. He cut his finger, which gave him some nerve damage, so he had a hard time playing. It was in his pinky finger. And then after that kind of healed up, his Parkinson's got to the point where he can't play.
Yeah, that's, that really is a shame, because I would have loved to have seen him play. Like,
pretty cool.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, that's not quite in tune. Every tune that. If you get, I wish the camera would pick up the amount of sheer volume of checking on this, because there's got to be 500 lines of checking.
Yeah.
We just can't. See the ding up here though. That's for sure. Jeez,
well, you can kind of make out a little bit of the checking going on.
Yeah, but
focused.
I think I did. What I would like to do is again try with a good lens. So they would just
20 mil wide open,
like a high resolution photograph or something like that,
and a constant light that doesn't come down and bounce back. Light's one of those angle things, right? You start
like even all through here, it's all checked.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like the whole thing. It's worn there. I don't know why it's so worn there. Yeah, but honest wear. Wow, that's a big chunk out there. Pretty good chunk, anyways. Yep, that's what happened to them. You play them.
We get scars as we get older. Broken bones heal. Some people get titanium put in their legs.
It's got a big chunk of it here. Like,
that's good natural.
Big chunk out here. Here. And this one, you can tell it's got much thinner paint. I don't know if we... Yeah, you can actually see some of the wood grain coming through, eh?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Yeah. Yeah, who says Paulie doesn't check? It does when it's old enough. This thing's got a lot of checking.
Well, that's what I was saying on my MIM Strat body. It's got checking and cracks and everything else in it.
Yeah. This one's got
odd.
Fair amount. Yeah. You can. Whoa! Wow! You cannot see that flame in person. The flame actually shows up more on camera.
Yeah.
And and then when you flip over on this side, there's some bird's eye in it too. Yeah, they're holy shit! Look at that. Yeah. It doesn't really. Well, I guess it does in that angle. This angle, it doesn't show up. Jesus. Yeah. Too bad the neck went on it. Oh well. Hey, Martin Lemaire! And Herb of Fireside Studio.
Hey, Herb and Martin. Charles, Ben Coombs might have to report to GPS, Guitar Protective Services.
Hey, I didn't relic them. I got them that way.
All right.
So did the guy. I don't know how. Type a 1 in the chat if you are a fan of acoustic guitars. Because I could grab the other. Because the other one, I was showing it to Mark today, so I got it just over there, which I can show off too, if the folks want it.
Herb's a 1.
1.
Yeah. I think that was going to be the response.
Well,
it seems to be overwhelmingly.
Yeah. Actually, should we do it this way, Trev? Do you want to see a vintage Martin?
I think we all.
But again,
agree.
Harry, like when you say, but it's not pre-CBS. I get with Martins is like, but it's not pre-war.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It's not pre-war.
It's not pre-war. We got 1-0.
Just a buck.
All right, John, you just cover your eyes, okay? All right. There you go, Trev, in the factory flight case.
Right.
Wow.
That's like the kind like you could go down a ski hill on, like James Bond. Yeah. Big ass bass case.
Actually, when I was really little, when my dad would be at jams or practice, I'd play with Hot Wheels on top of it.
Sure. It's good flat.
Made a great track. Because it does slope down a bit towards the headstock, so you can race. You can drive race down either side. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's in the Martin chainsaw case.
No 6.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
5 locks? Holy crap.
There we go.
I guess
So,
there's
Trev,
no way I was escaping from that.
I haven't tuned this guitar in 2 years.
Ooh.
And it's an acoustic. And that's why I love Martin D28s.
Jeez.
Nice. And then what's the age on that one?
Yeah. Oh, this smells like my childhood.
That can be good and bad depending on.
No, no. Martins have a smell, Terry.
Mm.
Charles. So this would be Sitka spruce top, possibly Adirondack spruce, but I'm pretty sure it's and Brazilian rosewood on the side and backs. Which, how many fretboards could you make out of that, right? The hell? What's inside?
Oh,
Something inside.
Nice, man.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. In case it's lost, we do have my dad's business card in the. That's what you do. You throw a business card in the sound hole.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-truss rod, Terry.
Oh, wow.
We got that one right the first time, I guess, right?
Fun fact, Trev, they didn't start adding truss rods till the 80s.
Wow, that's crazy.
What kind of strings were on these? We're holding up pretty good. Ernie Ball Earth Rounds, I think I put on it, I think. Yeah. Keep it short so it doesn't compress too much, but.
Yeah, I know it sounds good over the stream. Well,
and yeah, it has the telltale. Again, it needs to go to Woodford, Terry, because it's got the telltale pick guards, lifting up. It's got the crack going on from the pick guard back to the bridge that they all do. Mm-hmm. It's got the crack through the bridge itself, which they all do. But she ain't lifting. And
settled in and holding strong.
And I left it tuned to pitch, which you really shouldn't do. You should tune it down a bit. Apparently, I don't. And there's no dip in the belly. There's no work rise here.
They're killing Charles again, Ben.
I forgot. I really got to play this thing more. I never play this. I haven't touched this thing in a year. What's a sticker? Decal? Well, it fell off a music stand one day. Ooh, I do need to polish it, though. Jeez Louise. And a music stand went through the top. Yeah, we're not going to mention whose sister may have knocked it off. But this is... So, Dad, just quickly, this is load bearing now, to keep it from spreading, Trev.
Yeah.
There's a Mariposa. Actually,
you can see it there when you put it on that angle.
Yeah. I was going to say I have
okay.
Is it the same? 1976? Yeah, so there you go. That's the decal. Which makes sense because, Dad would have used this in 76, jamming with John Prine and John Cameron and Steve Goodman.
7. And
yeah, Ryan Hall just mentioned great guitar. Dad played that one with John Prine. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. V-neck. Love those V-necks. Pretty narrow. I think it's a little narrower than a Gibson. Still got small frets. Yep. Everything I love. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're going to have to play this more.
Ben Coombs Unplugged.
Oh, no. Trev. But wait, there's more. Now for the Terry part, to go, ooh. Oh. Can a fella reach? Can a fella? Apparently a fella can. Grab that. And we'll grab that.
Started my Dremel way too early.
So, it's out of warranty, clearly, because here's the warranty card, Terry, that would have hung on it.
Oh, wow.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Established 1833.
Oh, I love this. The address, just C.F. Martin and Company, Nazareth, PA, with a zip code. No street address.
Wow.
All right. How about the original price tag?
Oh, wow.
Now, care to guess? Guess? Okay, I believe it was purchased in 73. So,
My birth year.
I'll let both of you take a guess what D28 is going for.
$500. I have
I'm
no
gonna
idea.
say
That's
close to the
random.
Fender, and I'll go 4.
Okay. For
400.
350. Okay. See. Now, and I believe Canadian prices were close to American prices at that time. I do not know for sure. But
Whoa! Wow, I didn't think that much.
yeah.
You could have got a pretty good car for that back then.
Exactly.
Whoa.
So, yeah, BC Rich, winner, chicken dinner. So, yeah, 7 1/4 with the case. But he snagged on a deal on it, I believe. And if it's ever ripped off, I have an easy way to know where it is because the store put a decal on the back of the headstock, which just looks so cool and so period correct.
Yeah.
There we go. High note music. Are those American prices, Doug, or Canadian? This one's had bridge shaved out. There's not much showing on the bridge anymore, Terry. I will be honest with you. Action's still nice, though. I don't know, it might be up around 5. You know, might be a bit higher. This the nut was shaved down a bit too, as I recall. The last time Dad had worked on it. Oh, you know what? That bridge might be just no. Maybe it's just the lights playing with it.
Now, would you believe this? I just looked up what the currency exchange rate was in 1976. $2.6.
Wow.
Oh, see, no, wait. 1976 is the denomination they put in here. That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't
Come
want
on. 20 years chart. Exchange rate history. All right, I'll put me back. Fine.
Wow. So I did a quick Google and it says $750 in 1973 is equivalent now to today $5,033.
Yep. And yes, Brian, it does have Grover tuners. Yeah. Oh, I have no plans on changing other than getting the actual repairs done on it. And again, I would only trust someone like Ted Woodford, Terry. Like, I've seen enough of his videos. I'm like, this guy knows it. Like, when he go, oh, the neck broke in half, fine, I'll just make a new one for it. And you can't tell the difference, basically, you know. Because, you know, the pick guard needs to be replaced. That crack does need to be fixed. The bridge does need to be fixed. So, it doesn't, but I'd rather wait until it needs a neck reset. You know, because then models will get it all done at once. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, I can play it. You know, I'm not going to play lead on it. You know.
Yeah, you wouldn't be doing any string bending on that.
Oh yeah, it's only got 11s on it, I think.
But yeah, that one video I seen where he actually fixed that totally screwed up Rosewood bridge and replaced it, and that was like, wow.
The dollars were pretty close to parity at 76.
Where am I here? Yeah. Yeah, I can't play in there.
You're up on the frets you don't normally play on.
I have no problem playing in D, that's for sure. Although the butt right at the bottom just digs in. But other than that, if it was curled off just a touch, it'd be flawless.
Yeah.
Yes, Nazareth Speedway closed in the 90s. It's a housing development now, I do believe.
Strong says 4,300 Canadian.
See, I gotta put it away. I'll just keep, I'll just keep playing it if I don't put it away. Funny you mentioned that, B. Farthingsworth. Dad knew the Martin wrap in the 80s, and he offered to have it sent back to Martin to get the top replaced when the hole got through it. He usually comes on for Father's Day each year, Ryan. Don't need to yell. Again, it's okay. I'm right here. He does. We'll see. We'll see. We were lucky to have this past year. We're lucky to have the year before that. We're really lucky to have this past year. Mm-hmm. We'll say. For those who are in the know, the last couple of years have been pretty rough on him. So, if he's still around by Father's Day, maybe, but he's pretty close to needing full-time care. I can only do so much. You know what I mean? Terry's like, yes, I know exactly. Closed in 2004. Wow. Okay. Thanks, Keith. All right. Save that knowledge for tomorrow night. Speaking of which, tomorrow night, NAS Canucks, special guest Keith Campbell. Just saying. Thank you, Mel. And, so what do we got coming up this week? Oh, that Lebanese beverage I was drinking on a Zoom call, you two.
Right. Yeah.
That video comes out this week. There's your tease. It's a Lebanese beverage. So, thanks, Ryan.
Soda.
But I definitely recommend everyone should check out the previous Father's Day specials.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be 3 or 4 up at this point. Because I think I started doing that the first year in 2018. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it might be 5.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think he's appeared on the channel at least 6 times.
Yes, because he did co-host a Canucks with Guitars because he came on for an unboxing and stayed. You heard that right, Trev. He came on. Well, all right. So our friend Tabinin1 in the chat.
Yeah.
For those who may or may not know, he lives like one street over from where Dad grew up, type thing. But he's part of the Ashby mob that we'll talk about. Sydney, Nova Scotia, represent. Thanks, Charles. And so, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so he sent a care pack. He sent some stuff for me, some Ernie Ball patch cables. Thank you very much. And he sent some stuff for Dad from Cape Breton, which was kind of cool. And so I thought, mazel, have Dad on to do the unboxing live on a Canucks show. And I remember Richie couldn't make it, Terry, that night. And it was at that time. We had moved to the Zoom style, but he couldn't. So Landon Bailey, folks, Landon Bailey, our good friend Landon, Nation's capital, he co-hosted the show. And that was an interesting dynamic, Landon and my dad. He kept, because Landon's a nice guy, Terry. He's a family man. So he's like being polite and calling my dad like Mr. Coombs. And he's like, do I have to drive up to Ottawa and put you over my knee? Stop it. Just stop.
That's
Thanks,
funny that both your mom and your dad were that way. That was awesome, though.
Oh, that's the way they were. That's that was treated me like an adult in many ways in that respect, and we're all people.
Yep.
Mom and Dad both happen to have some cool stories. Unfortunately, by the time Mom started doing the Mother's Day shows, her memory was going a bit, so she didn't quite remember as much of the Mariposa stuff. And I think Dad, still to this day, he won't even talk. Like he'll say, "Oh, I jammed with," but you notice he doesn't get into the details of the jams. Mm-hmm. There's no mention of lifestyle choices. Meanwhile, we're thinking it's a folk festival in the 70s, Trev. Yeah, I'm saying, but I'm not saying. But we don't speak ill of that. And unfortunately, I don't think it. Is there anybody left from that jam session other than my dad? Type thing.
Wow.
They're all gone, unfortunately. Hey, Paul. Speaking of which, type a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with Steve Goodman. I expect at least 1-1. Because I'm pretty sure somebody I know, who I'm not going to rat them out in case they forget that they knew, but I believe we've talked about him before. Okay. Gary, Ryan, yeah, Ferd. Michael Cross 4.4, kind of. Okay, good. So Steve Goodman, he wrote the song "City of New Orleans." That was his biggest songwriting credit, we'll say. Which of course Arlo Guthrie recorded and made a hit out of it. So Steve, and Dad's talked about Steve on the shows and stuff, but he was a household name, and he doesn't get the recognition nowadays that he should. He's been one of those forgotten artists, I think. So if you're not familiar, go out and check out some Steve Goodman for me. Great singer-songwriter and good friend of John Prine's, and friend of my dad's too. That I can't remember how much they kept in touch by the time we moved down here, because we moved down here in 78, and I think he may have already been sick by that time, but I remember it's weird. I don't know if we even own a John Prine record, Terry, even though Dad knew John, but it's just, whatever, but Dad had all of Steve's records.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. Well, Zach, as an acoustic lover, check out some Steve Goodman stuff. Oh, it sounds like Fast and the Furious going out there. 4 cylinders and 3-inch exhaust. Just giving her down the highway. I don't know if you want to do that. Black Ice. Hashtag Black Ice.
Oh, yeah.
Idiots. Well, Darwinism.
Yep.
Steve is fantastic. I love that. Yeah, it was interesting. Early days, Trev, I remember my dad saying, yeah, he wrote City of New Orleans. And he played me his version. Oh, that's cool. Being a kid. He's like, yeah, what he did with the money from that song when Arlo did it? I said, no, he's bought a house in Malibu because Malibu was still new, so he was one of the first that crew. Yeah, and yeah, it was like because I think he was originally from Chicago, maybe, and so California, sunshine, life is good.
Yeah, that would make sense back then. Nowadays,
that's awesome, Keith.
On the Hudson.
What he got through.
Right? Wow. Yes, Ryan, I am well aware. Yes, that's a great song. Yeah, I agree, Gary. Yeah. I've been on getting into a bit of a folky kick late. Well, singer-songwriter again. And it's nice to see there's a whole other generation. You never hear about them, Terry, but there's a whole current generation of guys out there just standing on stage with the 28, singing their hearts out.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of that thing when people say, what should I start out trying to learn guitar on? I say acoustic. There's a lot of people, they're just kind of like, no, electric. I only want to play electric.
Oh, I just remember, that whole thing, like, I don't know if we had this conversation on a Zoom call or what, you guys can remind me, but, like, with my dad's contemporaries, and I'm putting my dad up there, but, like the guys like Steve Goodman, John Prine, like, the guys he picked with, the pickers, the way we can, we can put on a song like anybody. You put on a Van Halen song, instantly that's Eddie playing. You put on a Motley Crue song, Mick instantly. Warren DeMartini instantly. George Lynch, that tone. Whereas those guys are all playing the same acoustic guitar, but you knew who it was right away. Because they all had a unique finger picking style. Or proof it's all in the hands. Because you knew. You hear a song and it's just a guy picking on a 28 or an 18 or whatever. And you're like, yep, that's whoever. You just know. Guy Clark. I do like Guy Clark, Ryan Hall. Yep. Yeah. Steve Earle. Yep. Love Steve Earle.
On the Copperhead Road.
Yeah, I'm glad that song did well because it allowed people like me to discover Steve Earle, and then 5 albums deep, realizing that was kind of a one-off, in a sense. Like, that album was kind of that thing. It was a moment in time, but listening to the rest of the stuff, I was like, thankfully, it's different, but I like it. Like, some of it's more country, some of it's a little more rockin'. It is what it is. I don't know, it's kind of like Hank Jr.,
Oh, God, yeah.
It's just, it some of it's this, some of it's that. Hank Jr. is Hank Jr. That's it. It's like Willie's Willie.
Oh, that's
thanks,
cool.
Charles. I assume Dad was in fine form that night.
Well, that's what I was saying. His last appearance.
I think that was the episode down here. The 2020 episode, because that would have been during lockdown. And I think we did it down here. It's probably the last time he was down here. One of the last times. Because his legs were getting worse at that time, even.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was going to say, like, this last time he was on, he was a lot better than the previous time.
He was what?
He was better.
Yeah. That took everything out of him.
Yeah.
It was like literally watching a performer. We go off the air and he's like, I got to go lay down. I'm like, I get it. I was like, wow. Yeah. Because we were hoping it would go for half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dukes. So what else we got going on? We're an hour and 23 in. We'll probably wrap things up soon. But, yeah, Ryan, go back, watch them all if you haven't ever. Like, you will see some stories will. The last 2 times were upstairs in the living room. Yeah. I set up everything upstairs.
Yeah.
But, check it. Some of the stories repeat, but it's all great stuff. And he's just trying to remember that stuff, literally stuff that happened, 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's kind of like with Steve Rosen last night. By the way, thanks again, Steve Rosen, for coming on last night. That was an awesome show. Similar, right? You're like, oh, wow. It's like, you're just in that time. You just don't think to document you don't realize, like.
I didn't bother to ask, but does he know Charles Green?
I would think they have had to have crossed paths.
Yeah, and that's what I wondered, because he was mentioning whiskey.
That was a little before Charles, but I'm sure he was still down there in the early 80s doing that same thing, checking out bands, for the record company, whatever. Yeah, the nice thing is, nobody knows New Gear unless they tune into the show, since nobody else comes down here. But Charles hates wet sanding. Well, it's because you do all the wet sanding, because you use all the grits.
Bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you obsess about being a perfectionist and you start delving into 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000.
All right, before I forget, I'm going to do up this guitar case. So I don't want to forget. That was a nice guitar. Very lucky to have it. You have no idea how lucky I feel to have that. Because I hate to think what one costs now. I don't even want to know. Because I'm pretty sure it's a 72. So I make it 50 years old. Des!
Cool.
Hey! Hey, Desiree.
Great to see Des. I was showing off guitars, Des. I know. Shocker.
What do you think?
I was going to say, Doug Strong, I think, said a new one of those is 4,300 Canadian.
Sorry?
I said a new one of those, I think Doug Strong had said was 4,300 Canadian.
Here. We'll show Des the Barton. Because I just did it now.
That was Murphy's
Because we
Law.
looked at it. There you go, Des. It's a 72 Martin. Yeah, I really need to clean this thing. Like, clean without cleaning too hard. Hey, Cousin Doug. Whoa. I haven't played that so long, let alone that position.
Mm-hmm.
Can't help but play a little Neil Young on a 28, Trev. Like, can't help on it, you know?
Absolutely.
Because it's like, you play one of those songs on that guitar and you're like, yep. You're like, Terry, it's like, that's the tone.
Well, I was going to say, you were playing, it sounded like a little bit of Led Zeppelin earlier on it. Like a few notes of one song.
Again, Jimmy Page, so you get that, oh, let me think.
Yeah, Martin was one of the guitars he used.
Still haven't tuned it. Yeah. All right. Again, I can't. Once I pick it up, Terry, that's crazy. When do I ever do that with a guitar?
Well, it kind of.
I don't play well enough to get demonetized, thankfully.
Yeah. Same to you, Desi. But yeah, I mean, like when you talk about
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Des.
But when we talk about instruments having a aura or some type of energy or something channeling through it, a guitar like that is doing that exact thing for you. It's like channeling memories and various things that,
Oh, yeah.
It definitely brings that out.
Like that thing has been tuned to open G so many times playing Led Zeppelin stuff, and so much of Led Zeppelin's been played on that guitar. Thank you, Charles.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Nice one, Charles.
Thanks, Des. That's a hell of a compliment. That's a hell of a compliment. We gotta talk soon and catch up. Yeah, I played that thing like high school. Well, that was like Trev when we were talking off air last night. Like I sold the Fender acoustic, in between semesters. Why? Because I had that at home.
Yeah.
Like, I never played my Fender acoustic at home. Then I got the classical. Once school ended, Basically sold it within 6 months because I had that at home.
It would be a lot different if the Fender actually sounded like it.
Well, the Fender actually it sounds a lot like the Fender acoustics now. Like sound, they sound decent, but they sound like 7/10 of that or 8/10 of that. They sound in the style tonally.
Yeah, I agree. Because that one.
Nice. Josh gets to play at 63 Martin on Thursday.
Ooh.
Enjoy it. I used to play slide on that acoustic. Not well, but I did. You know what? I think that one, yeah. Expected video. Maybe this week. No. Maybe this week. Maybe I'll do a restring on that. Because the last time I strung that guitar up was Richie's bachelor party weekend.
Oh, wow.
Because I took it over to the Airbnb. I took a couple acoustics with me for a jam. And because I was restringing it on the back deck. Mm-hmm. And, and one of the pegs went, ding.
Oh, God.
And went down the deck, Trev. I'm like, no! If it had happened with my Epiphone, I don't care, right? Go down to Ardens, buy another peg. Yeah. What does a vintage Martin peg cost on eBay?
Oh,
right?
God.
Like, I don't want to know.
Get the flashlight out.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was the thing. I could see it, and I ended up
taking a board
using like a straw and something kind of sticky.
Chewing gum
and then
chopstick.
It was, up. Dear God. And then moving the whole operation inside to finish the rest of the restring. I'm like, so it was so cute. I'm sitting on a deck, Trev, next to a lazy river going by. It's beautiful outside,
Sure. What could go wrong?
Perfect. It was in paradise. And then Doug's wife went, really? For a second. Going to scare you a little. So, yeah. That was rough.
Create a little adventure in your life.
Oh, man. Yeah. My nerves were shot after that. And then, the last time previous I had that guitar out was on one of Dave's shows. When he got his Martin, we were showing off Martins one night. That was the last time I had it out. So, I'm glad. Yeah, take that. Yeah, so I think maybe we'll throw some D'Addario XSs on it. Or XTs. Or something like that, D'Addario. Because I clearly I don't play it much. It'd be nice to have some nice coated strings on it that hold up well. Although, those strings still sound good, so maybe I'll hold off a little. Maybe.
That's what I was going to say. They sound pretty good.
Okay, Charles played a D15. I heard about those. Isn't that the new Guitar Center exclusive or something? I heard they're nice. Oh, Martin LeBaron bought one. Okay. Yes, that's right. For the wedding gift. Right. I remember that was that's a nice guitar. I think it was a 00, I want to say.
Like entry level so far is $800 for a Martin DJR10 Junior. I guess that's going to be small, right? $679 for Little Martin. Yeah.
Their offshore stuff isn't too bad either. To be honest with you, they're not bad.
Yeah.
Oops. Oops.
Oh.
Why not?
Well, fortunately, you know a guy.
Right?
Although, Bo still says he's going to win me over with his tailors. That's the benchmark. That's the benchmark, right? It's, me, Terry, it's black or white. Either sounds better or worse than that. That's what you got to shoot for.
Well, I was just going to remind Bo to look in one of his storage spaces because he probably has a Martin or two.
I've never tried string joists.
Look around before you do anything.
I would like to try the string joists. I've heard some stuff about it. I've never tried them. I'm kind of into the D'Addario thing, and that's not just because of Rob, but I got into some of them before. I was using the Ernie balls, but the D'Addarios seem to be working pretty good. So, fella's not going to complain.
On their premium Harley Benton guitars or D'Addario strings.
That's an interesting concept of premium Harley Benton. That's the fully polished. I'm not sure how I feel with it. That's like a custom shop Dane Electro. What? No. Oh, what would it cost for a custom shop Dano? That's like custom shop prices, and you're still stuck with a Dane Electro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I could see pricing with a Dan Electro is if it's like a 6 and 12 string.
I mean, I knew a guy in high school who put a Hemi into a Gremlin. You want to talk about spending money on something useless?
Well, no, I understand that because power to weight ratio. That makes sense. That's all the power with none of the weight.
Or a Mazda or something. Come on.
Oh yeah, Vega Bob around here. He had the big block Vega. Because everyone else was putting small blocks in Vegas. He goes, well, mazel.
A little extra work.
He has all the shoehorns to get that thing in. Like, I'm pretty sure you have to take the finger off to check the oil. Oh, yeah. You don't change the spark plug. You got to pull the motor to change the plugs.
So you buy the good ones.
Yeah. So I Hemi powered Dodge Omni once. That was interesting. It was obviously converted to rear-wheel drive and tubbed. Which looked really cool under the hatchback because holes just wheel well. That's all you have, big glass with wheel well.
Didn't do wheelies, not that I've seen, but it
sure would twisted at the frame though.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Why is your left front wheel off the ground? Yeah, I kind of twisted the frame.
It's kind of what happens when you got 500 horse.
Yeah, I got all the traction and nothing broke. Therefore, the left front is now permanently off the ground.
You're going to be doing a motor mount sometime in your future. My dad chained a big block welded a spot to chain the block to the chassis on his.
Well, that was when they had the factory recall on the big blocks. You took it to your dealership. All they did was tie a chain around the frame rail in the exhaust manifold. That doesn't really fix it. That helps abate it, but it doesn't fix it.
Now, LR guitars, if they actually called them Harley Bentleys.
And yes, there's always one of those, Josh. There's always one of those. On that note, we should probably wrap things up. We've gone well past the hour mark because we did. And it's been an enjoyable show. We showed off acoustics tonight. Ooh, acoustics. Yeah. Might have to retitle the show Acoustic Show Off.
Well, it was meant to be.
Over here.
Canucks with acoustics.
The nylon string. What the hell is this called again? A Canora? Yeah, Canora. Had to get it in light.
But it's spelled differently than the place, right?
Canora with a C. Oh,
it's in tune. Nice.
I tuned it yesterday.
Okay.
That's not bad. I tuned it yesterday. There we go. So I gotta put that down. Jeez Louise. I gotta play more guitar apparently. Been jonesing.
Josh Tamberg.
Canucks with acoustics. You're more than welcome, Des. So I'll have a beverage out on Wednesday, beverage video from Lebanon. Lebanese. Yep. Apparently they get thirsty too, Trev. Who knew? Living in the desert areas.
Smoking that blonde Lebanese hash, I mean, yeah, it's probably pretty tasty.
That is true. Cool hanging out with Mark Taft today. Always a pleasure. And yeah, we'll see what comes out Friday. Don't know yet. We'll see. I wasn't going to do a video last Friday because I went live last Friday, and then Then we had a blizzard, and I showed off that little video, so there was that.
Right.
Go check out a Father's Day episode this week, folks, if you're bored, or a Mother's Day episode. Either one, they're nice. And So I've been Ben, he's been Terry, he's been Trev, you've been you, because that's how it works. Hold those doors open. Let Mark in ahead of you in traffic, because mazel. Doug's wife is real. So is Des. She's real. Yeah, I covered everything. Yeah. Rambling. Ooh, it's been one of those days. On that note, yeah. Where's the end? What comments now? Dale at the end?
See you, Dale.
My only friend, the end.
Sure.
Oh, that's banners. Where's the videos to end this thing? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just for Terry, because I know he likes
it. Hey Ben, if you really want your guitar to sound weird, get a 12-string pack of strings and then throw out the 6-string set, and then take the high 6-string set and then drop that down to a B and put them on your 6-string guitar. Snort! I'm gonna eat pizza.